So, welcome to another episode on the Bearfoot Miniatures channel. We're going to be going today through all of the Legion-specific Legacy units. And I'm joined today by Connor, who is here.
What's up?
Yeah, he's leaving it longer every time.
Do you know what? To be fair, just because everyone's going to get the start of this video redoing this, and it's because I've got Total War going on in the background, so I've just paused it.
You son of a bitch. So, yeah. We're going to be going over the Legacy units. I'm going to do the YouTubey stuff at the start, actually, in case there's another tail off, like when we just did the Lords of War. To which, if you haven't watched the previous video, stop about 10 minutes from the end, is what I'd say. When we get to the Storm Blade, yeah, just turn it off. So, yeah, if you enjoy watching this video, don't forget to like, comment below what you like, what you didn't like, and subscribe to the channel. Like, all of that will help me to know that you guys want this sort of content, and Connor to just feel that bit more rewarded for coming on.
I always feel rewarded in your presence, Maximus.
Oh, there we go. This is him just trying to get on again. As soon as I turn off the camera, it'll be all giving me shit. And there is a Patreon link below where you can get access to the Discord, as well as a bounty tray and dice that I've just ordered in black pearl and gold inlay.
Well, I can't wait for my set to come to my house.
You've got to join the Patreon. So, yeah, getting into that, what we're going to actually do is not do the special characters that are in the Legacies units. And the reason for that is it will give us a bit more time to go over the actual generic units that I think... Do you know that people have more opportunity outside of just like story battles to play with? So yeah, it'll just give us that bit more breathing space in the document to just go through it in more depth. So we'll start at the beginning, Connor, because it's a very good place to start. We've got Deathwing, Terminator, Cataphracti companions. And I don't think I can't remember, I don't think this was Legacies originally. I think this is just a new unit that got added to the Legacy document when they did it. So it's basically a command squad for Dark Angels. It's a HQ choice that they can take. Basically, you could take this as your compulsory HQ, as far as I could see it. You can also take it as a retinue, as one of their special rules for a character with Master of the Legion. So they've got Weapon Skill 5, BS 4, Strength Toughness 4, 2 wounds, Initiative 4, 2 attacks, Leadership 8, and the 2-up save. They're forced to be Deathwing, so that means any swords they've got will be at +1 to hit. And that's lucky because they have Calibanite Warblades and a Legion Combi Bolter, so that's they're starting off with the Dark Angels Specialist Sword. They've got Deathsworn companions, so you can't allocate wounds onto them with stuff like precision strikes and stuff like that. You can only ever allocate against the squad. So it allows you to do
sniper or anything along those lines.
Yeah, anything.
Nothing at all.
Yeah, so it allows you to actually, weirdly, allocate wounds to your Primarch, the Lion, whatever, with impunity, knowing that so long as the squad's around, as soon as they're down to their last wound, no more of that, it'll all go on the squad. So it allows you to weirdly preserve the squad a bit longer, as much as the other way around.
Yeah, well, it means you can bounce the wounds around a bit, doesn't it?
Yeah.
A little bit more, I think, if you want to. So you can't allocate them. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's a fairly good squad. They can exchange for Tyrannic Greatswords for free, Power Fist for free, and Thunder Hammers for 5 points, and that's fairly cheap, I'd say, for a Thunder Hammer, like regardless of what they're exchanging it for.
Yeah. I think they're a good unit. You're almost going to start me off already.
Go on.
No. We'll come to it in a bit.
What were you going to say? I'll draw this out of you.
This just another reason why Huskars are trash.
Oh no! Do you know what? Why I didn't see that coming a mile off, I do not know, because I should have done.
You should have. It's just another reason why they're trash.
Yeah.
But that's a different thing.
Yeah, Yeah, go on.
Yeah, it's a different thing. No, they're a tiny unit. Chosen Warriors, very cool. So
Good
you
luck,
know
Sigismund.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, or any sort of character in that sense. Anything with Chosen Warrior, I think is good. Just because it's that ability to be able to decide who goes into a challenge. Or alternatively, try and get the chaff out the way from the hard hitters. You know, if you've got a Primarch going in there and going, oh yeah, I'll challenge you, then you go, yeah, have a warrior. While you know the lion starts destroying the rest of your squad effectively. So that's very good. The fact that they can be taken as a retinue as well, also quite helpful in that scenario. Saves a HQ spot. The fact they're in HQ as well saves an elite spot if you do need it. Although I am finding personally that the HQ shots are a lot more valuable than your elite slots now.
yeah.
That's just me. Could be different for other
No,
people.
I'm finding that with only 3 slots, and then
Yeah,
like command squads, I think are more in it, especially for the close combat legions now, because a lot
yeah,
of things have the retinue rule like this.
yeah.
It frees up them elites a bit more,
Hmm.
and there's obviously exceptions to that, right?
Yeah,
If
of
you want to
course.
take a bunch of veteran squads, but then why are you not taking pride?
Yeah,
Tyrannic Greatswords, I think, are brilliant. I think there's one of the standout bits of this unit over. He's got a 5-up Murderous Strike, 5-up Rending. Yeah, it's 2-handed, but +2 strength at strength, so strength 6. And it's at initiative.
yeah.
Makes them
Weapons.
really scary.
Yeah, weapon skill 5 at strength 6 is hard hitting, isn't it? It's very hard hitting.
Yeah.
Um, you know, the fact that you can add the Thunder Hammers in there if you do want them in there. But to be honest, mate, I'd probably maybe take the Greatsword over it personally.
Yeah. Yeah, a
Just
lot of the
because
time.
it's going to be a killer unit anyway. The Death Sworn's champion thing is very good as well. Not being able to have people pick out certain things. So I don't know if you have got a Thunder Hammer, no one can target that if that's what they're scared of.
Yeah, if your Praetor has a Thunderhammer,
Yeah,
good luck getting
yeah,
through to the Praetor.
yeah.
It's
Can't be picking on him.
yeah. So
Um,
on the face of it, I think a very good unit. Like I'm just flicking as we talk about it now to how much a Cenobium Knight squad is, which is 275 points. So you are actually you're not getting stubborn, but if you take these as a retinue, I believe you get a Legion standard for the purposes of this.
I don't think you do.
Oh, you don't.
No.
So yeah,
This is an argument I've had. These bloody Huskars. Right. This is the thing. Is really, I don't know whether this is quite the same because I actually think there's more to this unit than obviously from the fish side of things with the Huskars. But from a Huskar point of view, you're actually better off potentially taking because they're not chosen warrior. They're not those sort of things. You're better off then taking a command squad and giving them the standard because obviously you'll get that with it, and then they're chosen warrior,
and they
etc.,
get
etc., and
line
everything.
and
Yeah, and everything else stays the same. This is obviously not going to have that same sort of thing, but with this, yes, you haven't got stubborn, but if they're being taken as a retinue, there's potentially going to be something in there with a slightly higher leadership or making them fearless. Maybe, I suppose, is how you're going to use it. Alternatively, you are just going to use them as a standard sort of HQ slot that you've maybe got free, and it does look like you can only take 5.
yeah,
Doesn't
like
look like you can add more, but they're hard hitting, man. They're nasty.
yeah. So they're 35 points less expensive than a Knight Cenobium.
Mm.
So they miss out on the Cenobium special, like Order of something special rule, which like Orders of the Hecanista special rule. Now that's it can situationally be like depending on which you choose be a very good benefit, but like 35 points over the squad could be the difference between getting the squad into the army or not, or even getting into this and a squad of Cenobium
And something else, yeah.
Yeah, so it's an option. It's
Yeah,
it's a worthwhile option compared to
definitely.
Cenobium, I think.
Yeah, definitely.
So onto the Tartarus companions, 225. Now that's much cheaper than the Cenobium. They can sweep. You go in at initiative with your Tyrannic Greatswords. Other than that, it's exactly the same. It's like just Tartarus versus Cataphractii, and they're cheaper.
The only other thing I'd add as well, I forgot to mention on both of the units, you obviously can take dedicated transport for them. As a Land Raider, which is quite nice as well, because that isn't as common as it used to be. So being able to, give them a transport if you so choose to, a bit more survivable. But I think that I really like them as a unit. I've said for a long time, we've discussed previously, I think the Dark Angels are one of the strongest legions. They've got so much variety.
Yeah, and the ability to tailor, like obviously these can't specifically tailor what they're doing to the unit, but they don't need to. They've already got the right one. And they might not have the best buff out of anyone, but specific buffs to their units, to what unit needs it. Like your squads that don't have auto weapons don't get a Legion buff.
No.
Whereas Dark Angel squads are always getting, and I think that's one of the strengths of it, obviously.
Yeah, getting something, can't they?
Yeah. So, Tartarus Terminators fall into what we've just been saying, but like in Tartarus armor at your discretion. I think it's potentially worthwhile because you are initiative 4 going before their initiative 1 weapons. So it's worth chancing it, I think, for a cheaper squad. Like, I mean, 225 points is so cheap, man. Like, for what these are doing.
Yeah. For their output, and both weapon skill 5 as well. It's mad.
Yeah. So, Firewing Enigmatus Cabal, that's 150 points for 3, essentially Centurions with a slightly worse ballistic skill. Ballistic skill 4. But who really cares? They have Calibanite Charge Blades, Needle Pistols, Shroud Bombs, so they always count as 6 inches further away. Their Chosen Warriors outflank, marked for death, so re-rolling 1s on their chosen unit. They've got Enigmata's Exhaust Projector, which is, like, these are on the next page, don't worry, we don't need to know them off the top of our head. One of them can take a missile launcher with Suspensor Web, Frag Crack, and Stasis Shells for 25 points. Now, I don't think you want to do that. They've not got the output to make that particularly attractive, because as soon as you fire them, they're getting return fired back, and it's just a free shooting phase. Like, yes, you can, I suppose, bait out the reactions and then fire this last, but you really, I would say, keep them combat specialists and just go from there.
Yeah, I mean, for me, the Shroud Bombs as well, I think are very underrated on that.
Yeah.
They can make a big difference. Outflanking there as well. Chosen Warrior again. They're another solid unit. I mean, just going into their blades, obviously they're +1 strength, AP 3, rending 6, and they have blades charge, which basically once per battle is what it is. They can do a blade charge, and it means that they have rending 3+,
which is incredible.
Rather than which is very good, and it gives them, again, going back to what we were just saying, very versatile. That means that they're being able to, if they do get caught out going into a unit they maybe don't want to, another Terminator squad call, I'm going to do rending 3+ on this with +1 to my strength, which is very good, and I'm still weapon skill 5, so your standard guys hitting at initiative 5 as well. So not only am I hitting you first by a long way, I'm potentially a better weapon skill. 3 attacks as well.
Three attacks.
A lot of attacks.
You're getting 2 close combat weapons, aren't you? Because a needle pistol's a pistol. You also, because you're Firewing, getting +1 to wound any squads with an independent character in, which is that is very good. +1 to wound, it makes you wound on 2s. And if you've marked for death that character, you're you're wounding on 2s, re-rolling 1s.
Yeah.
Like, I know you're looking for the rend 3 up, but really.
Yeah, but still, it's nice. 9 attacks plus whatever else, depending on how they've gone into a battle. Well, it's more than 9, isn't it? It'll be what, 12?
Yeah.
Those are the plus ones. So So you know, 12 attacks off 3 guys for 150 points. That weapon skill 5. Oh,
Yeah,
tiny,
and it's
tiny.
Enigmata's exhaust projector. If you enter the battlefield from reserves, you gain a shrouded 4+ for the remainder of the turn, which is that's really good. Do you know, for 150 points, I don't see how we've not seen these talked about more.
Yeah, they're solid. They're very, very solid. I think they're like you said, for 150 points. If you've got them spare, I can see a lot of Dark Angel players throwing these in. I don't know how much the fast attack sort of gets taken up by Dark Angel players, to be honest with you.
I'd free one up, to be honest, Connor.
Sorry?
I'd free one up.
Yeah, so right. And the fact that I actually just noticed as well, must have not heard you, but they've also got jump packs as well. So, you know, they're a fast, quick moving unit that are going to get around. And then even their needle pistols, you know, yeah, they're not a lot of strength or anything, but you're not using, they're poison free, pistol 2 and pinning.
Yeah.
So worst case scenario, you're coming on and trying to pin something and then just ramming into it.
Yeah, well, so the thing is it's you bait out all the reactions from the actual scary stuff in your shooting phase, maybe from like your Iron Wing tanks or whatever.
Yeah.
You bait them out, they use their shooting phase reactions, you then just attempt to pin them. Like, you don't care about the wound. What you care about is forcing them to roll the pinning check after you've already done your other shooting attacks.
Yeah. I think they're weirdly I kind of want to say they're weirdly quite well balanced as well, because you've only got 3 guys and you can't add any more to that. So I don't think they're going to be too silly overpowering.
No,
but they're very solid.
Yeah, like they once a game they're going to do that Renin 3, and that's really scary. But if you shoot them down, they're going to decrease in effectiveness. They're a surgical scalpel, right? They'll blunt very quickly, but until they do, they're really good.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we obviously did a console review earlier today, which I believe is out already, or might not be out already. It's coming.
It'll be out already. It'll be out
already then. And just going back to that, when we were doing that, you know, we're looking at 100 odd points for something, for things that might have only done something for a turn or are very limited. When you consider this unit is going to be 150 points, there's not much difference, and it's going to constantly be offering out something. I mean, even after the blade charge has been used up, you're still AP free. So you're still going into attack squads and causing problems, and you're still ending on a 6. So there is that potential there as well. And sometimes, you know, we even see with 2 up saves, it's weight of numbers that takes them down, isn't it?
Yeah, so we'll move on in a second, but I just want to look up how much a Pathfinder is. A Pathfinder is 70 points. So would you take like a Pathfinder for 70 points? No, that's a terrible question. But you know what I'm saying, right? A Pathfinder is 70 points, and these are 150. Yeah. So, right, onwards. Excindio Battle Automata, 350 points. Right. So this is basically a weapon skill 6 Domitar. Do you know what? I can't say it like that because it's a bit better across the board. Movement 8, weapon skill 6, strength 7, toughness 7, 6 wounds, initiative 4, 5 attacks, leadership 9, 2 up save. It's itself a cyber Thurgist, heavy. It's got 2 power claws, 2 manipulator arms, a internal refractor field. Its additional attack for 2 close combat weapons is already included in that 5. It will not die 4, vengeful rage. Cybernetica Exterminator. God, I should have looked up this one properly right before, not just a while ago. Do you know, because we've been through this document, haven't we, before? But this is a wordy one. So, the Power Claw is Strength 9, AP 2, Brutal 2. It's got its manipulator arms, which are, for each manipulator arm, make a single additional attack with its strength +1, so that's strength 8 at AP2 with melee and lance. So the maximum armor value you're getting against it is armor value 12. Yeah. Its internal refractor field is a 5-up save. It's got the Cybernetica Exterminator. So it's Artificia Machina, Cyberthurgic Arcana. You've got Animatus Integro, or you get a Cyberthurgic weapon, which is D6 haywire shots at 12-inch range.
So
you've not got a Battlesmith here, so it's D6 haywire shots essentially.
Basically, for me, looking at this, if you have got a Leviathan in your list, you take this instead.
Oh, you take this instead? So it's for comparison, it's 80 points more expensive than a Leviathan.
Yeah.
It is faster by 2 inches a turn, so it's getting that +1 to the charge. However, it's got 1 less brutal. I suppose it's got a bunch more attacks.
Yeah, but it's got a bunch more. It's got a bunch of other stuff as well.
It's got a bunch more attacks.
A 4-up will not die as well.
But it's only got 6 instead of 8. Oh, we're going to disagree on this one. I would. You know what? I was going to say take 2 normal dreadnoughts instead of it. I think you've got a good argument versus Leviathan. It's 6 of one, half dozen of the other.
Yeah,
and it's fast.
6 of one, half dozen other. But yeah, it's only brutal 2. But strength 9 still is going to destroy a lot of things. The manipulator arm as well, being able to give it lance effectively. Having lance effectively is a big thing as well, because all of a sudden you're being able to take out tanks potentially a little bit easier without having to accommodate or other things with armor in that sense. So I think it holds its own against the Leviathans and stuff like that. And then at the same time, like you said, a few more attacks. It can effectively repair itself and heal itself, and I like. It's a bit pricey. Yeah, I totally agree. But I think if you've got a Leviathan, might as well just throw one of these in instead.
Now, some of the ranged, I think you're right. To be honest, you go for this over the Leviathan in the combat way, just because of how much faster it is, and that's the downside of the Leviathan. Shooting wise, it's got some scary looking weapons, but I think actually you go for a Leviathan shooting wise. The pulse cannon isn't as good as a melter lance. The Foxfex canister is good, but you've got a Foxfex canister on your Leviathan. Yeah, I actually think I think you're right combat wise, and shooting wise you go Leviathan for the added survivability. So it's just an option, which is only a good thing. Do you like options are good things rather than it's when there's no option because it's so bad that it's a bad thing.
It's got vengeful rage as well. During the movement phase, the model must move towards the nearest visible unit, friendly or enemy. So you kind of want it by itself by the looks of it. If no unit is visible or more than one unit is equal distance to the unit of the controlling player, may move the model towards an enemy unit of the controlling player's choice. During the future, the model must target the nearest unit, friendly or enemy, with all available weapons. If 2 units are both equally, then you get to choose. During the assault phase, must declare a charge targeting the nearest visible unit, friendly or enemy. And so on. Okay, so that's quite a hard downside to it then.
Yeah, so that's if you take a wound though, isn't it? You take a leadership check. If failed, you enter the vengeful rage.
Yeah.
So you've got leadership 9, so it's not it's not always coming off, but as you say, it's a big downside. It's a funny risk though. It's a funny risk. And you can take a kill switch, so any Tech Marine or Forge Lord can have the kill switch for 5 points, as if you have to pay to have the kill switch. It can inflict D6 wounds on a friendly model, basically on this unit, if they're within 12. As
Mate,
if you have to pay for it.
do you know what? I'm just going to apologise to all of you because we should have read this second page before we started making conclusions. It's shackled artificer unit type is pretty mad as well. So successful wounds scored by attacks with poisoned or fleshbane special rules must be re-rolled against models of the shackled artificer unit type. All models with the shackled artificer type have fearless, rage 2, and hatred everything special rule. Right, so all of a sudden it's a chaplain within itself, and it's got rage 2, so which is mad.
Yeah.
May fire all weapons they are equipped with each shooting attack they make, including as part of a reaction as well.
Yeah.
So may fire everything. It's basically a dreadnought in that scenario. May fire heavy and ordnance weapons. So it's basically clarifying that it's a dreadnought really within itself,
but with rage and hatred everything.
But with rage and hatred everything.
I'm so torn on this. I'm so torn.
They also never count as scoring units, no matter the force organisation chart. Use the particular rules of mission involved. However, they do count as denial units.
Do you know what? Right. I think I don't mind this. I don't mind any of this. It's not reliable, and it could start ripping apart your own force. But I don't mind this. I still think it's a decent alternative. Right.
Yeah.
I don't really see anyone taking it because it's so unreliable, right? It's just potentially just so unreliable you don't take it. But still,
it's cool.
Like
it's
this.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really like it. Even for its points, actually, now. I quite like it. There's also a thing here called the kill switch, which effectively, when it dies, right?
No. The kill switch is when it goes out of control, the Tech Marine, if it's within 12, can do D6 wounds to it.
Not this. A model quick to kill. Oh, we flicked D6.
Yeah, that's what I was just saying about before.
Yeah, sorry. But it also means that they don't score any victory points for its destruction either.
So if it gets down to 1 wound, you just flick.
Kill it yourself.
Yeah, whatever.
Kill it
Yeah.
It's bad, mate. It's a really cool unit. I really like that. I want to see more. Dark Angel players, get these.
Yeah. Do you know what?
These.
I've not seen anyone using them. I've seen a couple of people complain about them, but I actually really like this unit going through it.
Greavesy, Ben.
Yeah, where are they?
I want to see in your next absolute nut kicking list 3 of these in your heavy support slots.
Yeah. So let's go on to the Falcons Claws for White Scars. So this is straight on to Legion 5, nothing for Emperor's Children and Iron Warriors up to this point. And I can't remember whether it's actually in
I think it's in a weird order.
So Falcons Claws, 95 points for 5 essentially scouts, except they've got lightning claws. And yeah, that's it. They've got lightning claws. They've got precision strikes 5+, marked for death, move through cover, outflank. This is a real hard one. They were in the original sort of book. Was it book 8? No, when book 9, when White Scars came out, because it was book 10 was Dark Angels. They were in that and got dropped, except now they're back. It's 95 points is cheap, but they're gonna die too easily because they've got a 4-up save. Having played Solar, there are so many things that we don't think about that have AP4.
AP4,
yeah.
I mean, they got shroud bombs as well. But the weird thing for me with these is that they do not have an infiltrate, but they have an outflank. And like you said, they're really cheap. They're probably a little bit of a rule of cool unit. Here, I made these. I'm going to put them on the board.
Yeah.
But outside of that, you're not taking them.
Yeah, I wouldn't expect great things out of these at all. Maybe you could, at the same time as outflanking your other White Scars outflanking stuff, these come on and they don't get targeted because they're just too crap to get targeted. And then
here's the
Yeah.
things real quickly. Sorry, I know I'm interrupting you.
No,
It's
go
really
for it.
rude, but maybe you can tell me better than I can, or Pete Reeves will be in the comments going, "This is how it works. I'm a White Scars player." Cyberhawks. How many Cyberhawks can they take? One.
No,
As
it's no longer a thing.
It's no longer a thing.
Yeah, it's no longer like something that flies about the board how it used to do.
Right, so it's per unit. They have their own thing per unit.
Yeah,
Just because
I'll
this says
read
they
you
can
out
take
the
a
actual.
Cyberhawk.
I'll read you out the actual rule now because I'm just flicking to it, so that we don't miss, so we don't get something in.
Upset mysteries.
Yeah, exactly. We want to get this right just for Pete.
Just for Pete.
So at the start of any turn with the controlling player is the active player. A model with a Cyberhawk must select one unit within 24 inches. When making shooting attacks against that unit, the model with the Cyberhawk and all models in the unit may reroll hits of 1.
Right,
When charging, you may add 1 to your charge. So you're charging plus 2 inches as if you had a jump pack.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. In which case, yeah, it doesn't really do what I thought it was going to do. So yeah, for me, it's a rule of cool unit.
Yeah.
But still not that cool.
Why not? Why do you not like these? Why not that cool, Connor? Because it's white. Just because it's white scars. They fought with you at the siege. What's going on?
Yeah, sort of. Went and did their own thing, didn't they? Got their Primarch killed.
Yeah. So let's move on.
Yeah. Cool that they got rules. Don't really hold much of a place. I can't see them being on the board much. To be honest with you.
Fenrisian Wolf packs. This is a bit of a weird one. So it's 10. I like the inclusion of this because it's like Third Ed reminiscent. 10 points for a Fenrisian Wolf pack. It's one wolf that is a bad stat like that. 3s across the board, movement 7, leadership 5, light skirmish. And it's got pack retinue, so it can be selected as a retinue for someone with the Master of the Legion special rule. It doesn't use up a 4-sog slot. In fact, it can't be taken any other way. And yeah, like that forms a unit, so they're on their own. I don't think you're ever going to see this really used, because
do you know what they should have done
for
this? Just looking at it, the immediate thing should be, and how it would get used, is you do that, but if there is part of their retinue, they take the wounds first.
Well, you see, there's still then only up to 5 wolves with this character that get blasted off.
There is, but if you've got,
I think the fix needs to be, while with the wolf pack, they can still join other units.
Yeah.
Like then they'll get used all the time, because actually a space wolf dude with a wolf pack, you're not actually doing it for the output or anything like that. You're just doing it so you can put some wolves on the table.
Yeah, it's cool, and a few more wounds to get rid of.
Yeah, it does have a benefit. It's 5 points for a wound then, but yeah, it's just to look cool. Their melee attacks have shred at strength 3, but you're not. This is a terrible unit because you can't join another.
Yeah, it's an awful unit. It's utterly roller cool, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's nothing. It's I wouldn't even argue it's playable. It's literally just an utterly roller cool unit, which is a shame because I just think they could have done a bit more with that
very easily.
Yeah, they could have just given a bit more to that, I think. Which I just think they could have done more with it.
So,
definitely.
On to scrolling through all the characters. Fulementarus and X. Boom. 290 points, Fulementarus.
You've missed one.
No, I've not, have I?
You have. You've done it on purpose.
No.
Right under the Fez.
Aeios Dios? That's Rogel Dawn's special transport. That's like character level.
So not a character.
Right, we can do Aeios Dios. Right, I'll do this very fast. The Aeios Dios is a Thunderhawk with a Void Shield, so you don't take it because it's crap. However, you try and buy one because Thunderhawks are really cool.
And that's done. Cool. Next.
Right. Fulementarus Terminator Squad.
Exactly that.
Right. So, what to say about Fulementarus? Connor, do you want to do him? Because mine's going to be so incredibly biased, it will hurt everyone listening.
I don't know. Do I want to upset Neil or not?
Well, the trouble is, Neil is wrong about his thoughts on them. Like, it's just flat wrong. So Neil's opinion would be, well, they're good and they look good on paper, and everyone else in the world says that they're really good, but they never do well for me. That's because Neil, Neil is a terrible player, clearly, then, if that's his thoughts on them. Because they're BS5.
What? The moment you said, like, just the moment you mentioned Neil, even though this isn't out yet, we're currently recording it, I fully expected to have got a DM from him or a WhatsApp message telling me how the board shields are not board shields and how these are terrible.
Yeah, so there's 5 of them, they get power weapons and they're plasma missile launchers. You're never going to use the splinter shell. You're only ever going to use Hellfire. Power Fists, I'd say it's worth taking 5 points each, just to be doubling out other Terminators for that last hits charge. 55 points or 60 points then a model is only like 5 points more than a Tyrant. Everyone thought Tyrants were a problem at the start of Heresy 2, and then these came out. And yeah. So Hellfire missiles, strength 8, AP 2, brutal 2. And their targeters mean they have night vision, they gain guided fire, so can fire without having to draw a line of sight to the model. So enjoy firing round corners in a ZM.
Right. The only thing I'd say with them is, can't your Terminators go up to 10 man?
Yes.
So can these. Yeah. Ignore me. I completely missed that one.
Yeah,
so let's just cut that.
Right. So, right, Connor. Right. I'll describe it to you in this way. Form all of your thoughts about, like, form all of your thoughts about Tyrant Siege Terminators in your head. Right.
Yeah, can't be repeated.
Then, what you should do is just imagine in every way they were better, and then that's these. No, they're great against Dreadnoughts because they're wounded on a 3 with brutal 2. They're Thunderhammers at 24-inch range. Jesus.
Yeah. Look, I'll put it this way, right? Because I've not really looked at these much. I'll be honest, I've not really looked at Tyrants much either, to be honest. Even though I probably should have. I just try and kill them, and then I know I know they're a problem, so I try and kill them and then move on. What I would say is, obviously 24-inch range, strength 8, AP 2, brutal 2. You're killing what you hit. Your ballistic skill 5s, you're always hitting on 2s generally, and no matter what, you're always hitting on 2s because everything's got night vision without having to add to it. It's a good unit. It's as simple as that. Anything that's firing the strength 8 AP2 things that stuff with brutal 2 is a good unit. So I won't have anyone say otherwise. Do you know what? I'll
give you the counterpoint, which is they're not as good as Tyrants at firing at armor because they don't have that inbuilt +1 and they have 1 less shot.
But that's not what you fire.
Yeah, fire them at anything else. Just fire.
Yeah, because what you do is you have this unit in your elites, which goes. Do you know what? These are all the horrible, whatever it is, like normal units and dreadnoughts and whatever else that I want to kill, and then I use my las cannon squad that everybody takes to kill the armor, which there's basically none of anyway, because hardly anyone really takes armor. So
we need to move on, Connor. I've just read the description. He's rebooted Gullum and ordered. So after viewing the Tyrant Siege Terminators,
I'm done. Right, Loctarus Storm Shield. Storm Squad.
Yeah, next. Oh, we needed to move on then because that was going to be so bad. So 150 points. You've got the Loctarus Storm squad. That's 5 Storm people. They are essentially veteran profiles with 2-up saves. You've got an Argian Power Sword, Warhawk Jump Pack, Artificer Armor, Bolt Pistol, Frag, and Crack. So the Power Sword is AP3, Rending 5-up, Duelist Edge 1. So Duelist Edge 1 is you get +1 to your initiative in a challenge. Blade of Wisdom, which is one of their special rules, is that when they are part of a successful charge, add +1 to their rolls to hit, essentially. If they've been targeted by another friendly unit composed of entirely models of Ultramarines in the shooting phase. So if you have a unit of Baltamarines, fire into the unit these guys are charging, and you get +1 to hit. So you're hitting weapon skill 4 things on a 2.
Yeah. They're solid. They're
Yeah.
solid, mate. For 150 points, it's next to nothing really. You're gonna just fire random bolt things that you can't hit anything else with before these guys charge in. Weapon skill 5's good. They're all chosen warrior, which is mad.
At least they're not all characters like Suzerain.
No, exactly. Yep, so they're all chosen warriors, which is mad. Just having a look at what else they've got here. I mean, look, AP3 merely rending 5 up. It is mad. Mate, these are better than Templars.
Yeah. Like
straight away, they're better than Templars.
Yeah, they are, and they have the same.
In fact, no, they're miles better than Templars. The Templars can take combat shields as well. The only thing that Templars do that these guys don't is Templars can take all melter bombs on the squad, right? But their weapon skills is exactly the same. The saves exactly the same. They've all chosen warrior, which Templars aren't. So immediately they can all accept challenges, which makes them miles better. Duelist Edge as well, obviously, but then in the challenges makes them better. The Rending 5-up is better than the Templars because they just have a normal power sword.
But they'll also, if they in a semi vacuum now. If you've got a tactical squad in these versus the Templars, these will hit first, or these will hit you on 3s. You will hit them on 4s.
Yeah,
and they will get the charge for the extra attacks. They're really good. It's Ultramarines, isn't it? They're very good.
Yeah, they're solid, mate. Yeah, they're well good. Well, I say well good. They're good. They're a solid combat unit. And they're in jump packs as well. That as well. That alone as well. They're mad. I'd be surprised if we don't see more of those rocking about soon.
Yeah. So
as assault options for them.
On to page 75, the Palatine Blade Aquila squad, which is essentially Palatine Blades but given jump packs. And yeah, it'll be a good direct comparison to the last unit. So 195 points, you get an extra ballistic skill. You get...
Which is unneeded.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's not a benefit. You get a charnable weapon. So the Saber is, off the top of my head, the best one of them. And you get this... So that's the same. His 5-up rending. It's not got AP3 though. It's AP 5. So that's actually a downside. That's a bad thing. So they got worse main weapons. They've got Relentless, which doesn't matter because they've got bolt pistols. Chosen Warriors the same. Counter Attack 1 and Skill Unmatched. So Skill Unmatched is their blade play that they get. I think to be honest, it's worth that points difference. I think that's the best way to say it. It's worth that points difference. If you were taking Palatine Blades, this is a good alternative to get that jump pack in.
Yeah,
really.
I don't remember. I don't remember what else other rules the Palatine Blades have got. I was just sort of looking at them as a comparison to the previous unit we were just talking to with the Ultramarines, the 45 points difference. probably would take that to have counter attack. I can't remember what skill unmatched
Skill
is.
unmatched
Is that
means you can trade off attacks or increase your weapon skill.
weapon skill?
Yeah. So it's
so decent, mate. I think. I still think the Ultramarine ones
good. Like it's you can give -1 to hit you as a surgical augment. I'll give the entire squad a pinning weapon, but to be honest, I'd give the -1 to hit you on this squad, and save the other augments to maybe the apothecary in the squad. Yeah, it's a good squad. Like Palatine Blades have been covered, I suppose, in the Emperor's Children review, and this is just that with jump packs, which they were missing.
Yeah. Decent.
So on to fine. We did Aeios Dios, so we're doing the Tormentor. It's 900 points of garbage. It's really bad. It falls under the Lords of just like the Thunderhawk was. It's got a transport capacity, cool.
Super heavy though.
It is a super heavy, yeah. But yeah, it's not brilliant, and it will count towards the maximum combined Lords of War and Primarch value. Just like I suppose Aegis, I imagine Aegis Dios does the same. So it means it's
I think so.
God, what is that then? Like 3,600 points before you can take.
Yeah, it's silly.
That's terrible,
they need to sort them both out. Yeah, they need to sort them both out again.
Yeah. So
basically,
Iron Havoks, 135 points. Marine squad stat lines. They've got shrapnel cannons. Ferrum Ocularis, which means they hit precision strikes on a 6. Now, I know what to say about these, but like in an expression, what to say about these. Las cannons, they get to change for auto cannons for free. I definitely do that really over the shrapnel cannon, because the shrapnel cannon's only 24-inch range. They don't have relentless or anything. Pinning's good, but you can get that elsewhere in the Iron Warriors. You don't need it in your heavy support slot. With the las cannons, they get precision strikes 6, which is good. You can just nuke someone's Praetor first turn. But they don't have night vision, so you're getting -1 to hit from that. If you have a full squad of 10 with las cannons of these, and you take an augury scanner, you can get a normal heavy support squad with las cannons and attack marine for the night vision for cheaper. So it's you miss out on the precision shots, but I never find it comes off enough. There is that time where it comes off, and it's like, bam, I've just nailed your Praetor, and it sort of feel bad for your opponent. And then
what I would say with them is, I think the points difference for that to have the precision shot is right. I'm not saying it's worth it, but it's right. Yeah, and the reason I say that is because I get what you're saying, doesn't come off enough. But I don't think you run your Iron Havoc, or not that I've been aware of, you run your Iron Havocs like every game, right? So if you started running them every game and firing them at all sorts of kind of things, you'll probably see it will come off more in that sense.
No, like I've avoided them a little bit because they're more expensive. I don't think they're worthwhile over realistically, I don't think they're worthwhile over a las cannon squad, because as soon as you start firing a las cannon squad at your opponent's warlord squad, that squad starts getting wiped anyway, and you don't need the precision shot.
I mean, it depends. Yeah, I know what you're saying. I think it does depend of the scenario, but my thing is
like for like 100 points, I could just take a librarian with the divination power that gives me precision shots 5, and it's not that much more expensive for double the value of precision shot.
Yeah, and
night vision, because I've got attack marine in there.
I get what you're saying when it comes down to I can do this, and this in a different way. I don't. They're not a bad unit. Like, they're just not. They might be a bit
because
overpriced.
It's a las cannon unit.
They might be a bit overpriced, but they're not. they're definitely not over. They're definitely not a bad unit. The
no.
the fine thing of it all is where's the line between them all of a sudden becoming a joke of a unit that just every Iron Warriors like a person takes. And I suppose the difference is one of the Iron Warriors thing being the additional strength to that. I mean, maybe if you looked at changing the way the Iron Warriors run as a Legion trait and actually had let the Iron Havoks got the additional strength,
Yeah,
then
like,
all of a sudden you'd take that for that price difference, wouldn't you? That unit has got everything
by
it's got,
far.
and they're the one things that. So they probably need a little bit of a toy, in some sense.
Well, I
to
just
make
think they
them a
need
bit of the
something to
same.
make them special over a las cannon squad.
Well, their
I think
special
we've talked
thing
about
is
this before. Like, I would be in support of the Legion rule changing back to something around morale in shooting, whatever that would be.
Yeah. So I think that would be the better way of doing it, and having them get the additional strength potentially. But I think, still, yes, there's the way that the Tech Marine gets it, but we've discussed that a little bit in previous videos and the cognitism issue and stuff.
Yeah. So he's right.
But
So one thing is these. When you don't compare them to a las cannon squad, they're brilliant because they are a las cannon squad. So when I'm sort of slightly complaining about, or when I'm complaining about this, that's still with the caveat that they are a las cannon squad. So they're still undercost. They are undercosted because they are a las cannon squad that's within. Do like they're within realms of the normal las cannon squad in cost, so they're undercosted.
Yeah, with a natural BS5 as well.
Yeah, like,
and a precision shot.
Yeah. But I just don't. I don't. No, but my advice would be don't take these in an Iron Warriors army.
I'll tell you what it is. The issue is they were so good in the last version.
But in this edition, now everyone is an Iron Havoc from last edition.
You're right. Yeah. And that's exactly where I was going to take that. Is that they were so good in the last version, and now everyone's kind of got the same thing, or everyone has got last version's one now.
Yeah.
And these are still a little bit better, but they just don't sit out as much.
Yes, not like some Furies do or some Killers do. Right, so let's go on because I could talk on this issue all day.
Yeah.
So
no
got
one
Gold,
really cares about the Iron Warriors anyway.
No, he's glass a third full sort of attitude to them. So again, actually quite a way down, there's a bunch of special characters in between the next one. So we've got on page 91, Connor, we've got the Automata Occult Intercession Cabal for 175 points. These are the snipers that Thousand Suns have as their like special sniper unit that God, I was trying to remember the name of the character. Ammon is the head of these guys. So they've got BS5. They are movement 8 because they're in scout armor. Strength toughness 4, 1 wound, initiative 4, 1 attack, leadership 7, 4 up save, and the sergeant is 2 attacks, leadership 8. They've got light, psyker, skirmish, so they +1 cover from that. They can move and snap fire, but you're never really going to do that. Scout, infiltrate, move through cover, relentless. Relentless is a good one. Shrouded 6+. So yeah, I don't think you take any upgrades like Melter or Plasma on these because they've got their Nemesis bolters that you're just going to stick with them. I suppose maybe you take a Melter gun and infiltrate right next to your enemy to like fry them turn 1.
Yeah, if you want to play it like that, I think if that's what you're going to use them for.
I think Seekers may be better for that though.
Yeah.
Like it's for that specific job of just frying someone turn 1, take Combi Melter Seekers. You don't need this squad, and the Seekers will have a better save to survive the incoming fire. You don't need the Nuncio Vox. I wouldn't say on the Melter Bombs. Mind Killer at the start of the turn before any models are moved. Psychic check may be made once for each Cabal using the leadership of any model in the unit that doesn't have independent characters. So the Sergeant, if passed, all shooting attacks from the psychic this unit gain rending 4 and ignores cover, and that's where this is gonna is where this squad is going to come off right. It's snipers with rending 4, ignores cover.
Yeah, yeah, I quite like the unit. I think they're decent. Like you said, they're snipers with, potential rending 4 and the ignore cover bit as well, which is pretty big. The infiltrate, obviously, all of that's there, the same as you would with pretty much your recon squads anyway. Shroud bombs are always good. I think they're a great thing. Nemesis bolters on them for free as well, so I think it probably makes them, for that squad of 5. The only thing is they aren't line.
Well, it's because they're scouts with it, like, so a scout squad with scout armor isn't line.
I was thinking is my recon squad, I think, is 185 points.
For how many is that?
So I was just looking, 5 guys, all with
That
Nemesis
expensive?
bolters. Yeah. They're not that cheap, mate. And but they're line as well.
Yeah, so
he's look now.
Recon squad start at 85. If you had 5 Nemesis bolters,
oh no, they might not be that. They
135.
might not be that. Yeah, sorry, I've got that so wrong. Why am I to that things? So yeah, okay. So you're paying more points, but
and then additional guys. It's the difference of
I've run them as
22 points to 25 points per additional guy. So as the squad gets bigger, the gap gets closer.
Yeah. So I mean, it's you're paying more points for these guys, but I think let's be honest, I do have the scouts in my list as an additional score in points, but I think with these,
maybe
I
you
think
use
that's what I mean. I think you use these guys not as a scoring unit. You use them as a just true sniper squad. You stick them somewhere and have them pop at stuff.
And
like I said,
and Connor,
when
you get the new, not the Inducti squad as your 3rd squad of troops, which gain breaching 6 up. Yeah. Like, so that your snipers are rending on 5s, your Inducti rend on 6s, or breach on 6s, and they're like half the cost. So then you get this bigger 3rd scoring choice, and your snipers separate that are a separate tub of wounds.
Yeah. But I quite like this unit. I think it's quite nice. I don't think there's too much wrong with. Yeah, I don't think there's too much wrong with it. If these were a fist unit, I'd take them rather than the recons. Put it that way.
Yeah, 100%. So here's one for you. Big up, Phil. Reaver Aggressor squad, 165 points, and these are Reavers with jump packs. They can be taken as troops in the Black Reaving, but they, as part of that in general, they don't gain line. Reavers aren't the greatest ever. Is my diplomatic way of saying that. I don't think I can't have this conversation with Phil because we disagree so much. It would be 45 minutes of us just bickering. I definitely take this over normal Reavers because the built-in jump packs I think are worth it now for the additional charge range and stuff. Let's go past this, Connor, because I can't do this. Right. Phil's screaming at you. You do it.
Right. I don't know what Phil's opinion is. I can probably guess, but I don't know what it is. They're okay. I think the jump packs is all right. Weapon skill 5 obviously in there as well. 165 points. I think the 30 points for additional models quite pricey. Counter attack is good. All chosen warrior, good. Precision strikes, there's precision shots in there as well. They're just a bit of a juiced up assault squad, aren't they? Really, in that sense.
Which is a bit of a shame.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I don't know how they tie into the Black Reaving as well, and so on. We won't go into that too much.
The Black Reaving is when you attempt a multi-charge. So you don't actually have to be successful. When you attempt a multi-charge, both units gain Rage 2.
Right. Okay. So yeah, it's a fair amount of attacks out, I suppose, in that scenario. Yeah. I do, like I said, I think the 30 points per model additionally is quite high. Seems quite high for what the squad is, which model. Which like you said, it's just it's a chain axe model. But the weapon skill 5 is obviously very good. the Chosen Warrior again, like I said, is very good.
Yeah, I
personally think anyway. I think it's quite an underrated rule that people skip over quite highly, but they're all right. I'm not saying they're the best in the world, but and I'm sure Phil will probably tell me why they're awful.
Yeah, he's going to watch it. I think everyone in the comments, if you disagree with that, that's going to result in too many comments. If you have found a way to run them successfully, let us know. Because Phil is having a hard enough time with them. I don't think they're too bad, but I think they're very expensive when you get them into useful levels. Like they work on the field, but they take too much of your army up.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Like, they are a good unit, but they're really pricey. So it's what else goes around it, because ultimately the weapon skill 5 is always good, but and you know, Chosen Warrior always good as well. Precision strikes in there are good as well, but you're already paying 165 points just for 5 guys, and they're just 5 guys. Yes, they're sort of like a glass hammer, aren't they?
Well, I suppose like they've well, not even that. They're not. Do you know what? I'm going to revise on this because we've just been through Loctarus, we've just been through Palatine Blades.
Well, yeah. So there you go. Loctarus in comparison are mad.
Yeah, they've got a 3-up save rather than a 2-up on the Loctarus and the Palatine Blades.
Yes.
Yeah, do you know what? I'm revising what I've just been saying. Like, I've been trying to hold out and find a use for them for Phil. For his army's been in my house for the last 6 months because he's just been like, no. And maybe I need to use them on channel more, have more experience with them. But yeah, comparatively, they're 15 points more than Loctarus. They've got a chain axe and a worse save.
Yeah, I mean, look. Put it this way, then we compared the Loctarus to the Templars, which, if people don't know, are weapon skill 5 2-up save as well, 2 wounds. Now the Loctarus are the same points. I think they're 150 points for the Templars as well. And if I'm just literally going to scroll up and double check. I think the Loctarus had 2 wounds as well, not just 1.
Yeah, they had 2 wounds.
They did. So there you go. The Loctarus are already miles better than the Templars. These guys are not as good as Templars, and I don't think Templars are that great either. So yeah, I'm in agreement with you. The points are too high. They're like an okay unit, but they're just not. They're not there.
Like, to give him the fair shout.
The jump pack's a difference, by the way. Jump pack's a big difference because obviously the Templars don't have that. They don't have the counter strike or Chosen Warrior, so that's where that ties up in that sense.
Yeah. To give him the fair other side of the argument, what I've been like saying to Phil's Legion rule, if you pairs well with Black Reaving, which these can be included in, especially with the Inducti squad, if like a Despoiler squad to soak up the hold the line, allows their Legion rule to then pop, and their Legion rule is very good. When it isn't held, like when it's not disordered, it's really good because it stops them being doubled out.
Yeah.
Then that combined with some fists, because you don't care about going last, and because you're not getting doubled out either.
Yeah.
So then you're doubling people out with it without getting doubled out yourself. That is very good, and I think there are ways of pulling it off. It's just, it's just looking at those points levels though. They're not good enough for their points.
Yeah, which is weird because 165 points isn't that bad. It's just when you're comparing it to other things that have been offered out.
In the same dark.
In the same sort of bracket, and like I said, that those Ultramarine guys are mad good actually, really, in comparison. I mean, the flip side of this is they've just got chain axes. They've not got the ability to rend on that. Which would I rather have the ability to rend or the additional strength? Probably the ability to rend.
100%.
But then at the same time, again, the counter from them and Templars from this side is the counter attack. I'd love to have the Chosen Warrior and the precision strikes as well. So, and then the jump pack. So there's 4 things there that I'd love to have. Would I have that over rending? Yeah, probably.
As soon as you give them the power weapon, they're then within striking distance because they're then like the AP3 rending again.
Yeah.
But that's then 215 points for 5. Right. So with that is our rundown of all these
before we get dragged into fortifications.
Yeah, so that is our rundown of the Legion specific Legacies units. Like, I think we'll follow on when I've collated all of the exemplary units into a different thing, so we can like properly have them in the filming thing. We'll do fortifications at another time as well. Just it allowed us more time to do these individual Legion specific squads. I'd do them justice really as much as an Imperial Fist player and Iron Warriors player could do.
Yeah, could do.
Yeah. So, yeah, with that, you've heard all the YouTubey stuff before, but please do it. It does help out with the video, and we will catch you guys next time. In a bit.
Ciao.